Good evening. I was just sorting through my file again, and I was reminded of something. A very brief draft, just a couple of sentences from the morning, soon before noon on December 26th of 2009. I was on my way out of Gulfgate Library, but I stopped to send a brief because a man had been broadcasted into the library, portraying himself as official and wanting to sound sad about, for some reason, saying words including, "It's time to start confiscating your people's houses and guns." And, it was a concern immediately, and I went ahead and sent it to a newspaper out of state. And, uh, of course, I'm glad that apparently that there hasn't been any kind of confiscation. I just want to say that I've also during months ago I received a couple of different candidate survey invitations pertaining to the issue of the people's right to keep Second Amendment right to keep firearms in their house if they want. And earlier in my life, I usually had something. I was lawful about it. I was never really a gun enthusiast or anything. But I want to say that if I had a home of my own, I'm sure that I want to at least have something, shotgun or whatever, in the event of an emergency. If there's an emergency that the police couldn't handle or whatever, if there was like a multiple emergency or something, I think most heads of household would prefer to have a defense weapon in their house in the event of an emergency that police didn't arrive in time or whatever. Besides, there's the sporting. There's target shooters and I just believe that people should continue to be able to lawfully have legal firearms in their possession if they want. I haven't studied the matter at all. It's just to me kind of an off the cuff subject. Well, of course, people should be allowed to possess lawful firearms. It's been an accepted fact for many years, and I agree about it. There should certainly be continuing maintaining of good laws to regulate against any who have used firearms and to harm anybody, and persons that have been convicted of using guns against others unlawfully, that they should be restricted from having. But good lawful citizens should be able to have some means of protecting themselves and their homes in the event of emergency. So I just wanted to mention that. It is always really. I know I do also empathize about people that worry about the crazies, the terrible criminals that suddenly use guns against innocent people. It's really very tragic anytime that it happens, and I don't know if anybody really has the answer. When you're a nation of we're a nation of more than 300 million people, and these days so many are newcomers. Uh, that we don't have any, possibly don't even have any background information about. That it's really difficult, and every time that that like what happened in Texas recently, it was absolutely tragic, and you know, I just don't know what to say. Because a criminal does something terrible doesn't mean that people that are being law-abiding should have their protection of themselves taken away from them. There needs to be somehow better screening to determine persons that might be harmful, and in the shooting in schools, or whatever. To not to victimize everyone, and I just it's tragic whenever it happens, but in a nation of more than 300 million people, it's difficult to be monitoring everyone. It's impossible to monitor everyone and know exactly who might do what. But I hope that the efforts are better and better to at least have a chance in schools in particular, and that there'd be less tragedy. Hopefully, there wouldn't be any more tragedies in the future. And in the event of any emergency, these days they're even talking. There's even worrisome talk about nuclear Armageddon. People need to be able to secure their own places, and I think deterrence does help to protect without the use, and just hope that everyone's all right, that people are able to protect their properties whenever it's necessary, and hope that there are no interruptions. Have a good evening.